Coronavirus are the well-known cause of severe respiratory, enteric, and systemic infection in a wide range of animal hosts, including men. Scientific interest in coronavirus has been felt since the COVID-19 outbreak that began in Wuhan, China. Ongoing and future strategies against the coronavirus result in a large number of face masks.
Positive effects. On March 2021, a study found that hedgehog raw death rates in Poland were more than 50% lower compared to years before the pandemic, saving tens of thousands of hedgehogs in Poland alone. Another study looking at raw death data from 11 countries found that raw death rates fell by more than 4% during the first weeks of the pandemic restrictions in Spain, Israel, Estonia, and the Czech Republic.
Most of the people want this pandemic to finish. I have that feeling that you are free. Everyone misses it. Many families had a breakdown in the aspect of economy since some people don't work. They don't have something to eat and they want to. And the economical part of the families is getting down. And there is more poor people in the streets. In the negative effects, we have an extensive list.
Number 1. The pandemic situation has spread like a global pandemic, causing fear, stress, stigma, maximum and restriction of social networks. Number 2. Medical and health systems, especially biomedical systems, have tried their best, but the system is affected itself by different conditions in nature. Consequent deaths are reported despite a great effort in the biomedical system.
Deaths due to various illness or complication of diseases occur amongst the nations, especially on elder COVID-19. For impossible tasks and challenges to the medical staff, supported staff, social workers, and health administrators at local, domestic, and global levels. The World Health Organization is the primary entity followed by other United Nations.
A number of countries such as Italy, Spain, USA, and China, and several other European countries face much greater disintegration in all subsystems of society. Therefore, social systems need to be completely organized, integrated in order to survive.
Environmental effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Science Open House, Felipe de la Vega, Daniel Ceballos, and Juan Sebastián Villela. Coronavirus is an infectious disease that has spread all around the world, and lots of people have died all this time because of it. So to avoid more contagions, restrictions were imposed to combat the spread of the disease. But these restrictions have made some effects in the environment. These include temporary improvements in air quality, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and lower levels of noise pollution. However, there have been negative consequences such as greater use of plastic, organic waste, among others. The most significant changes. The change in the air quality. One of the most obvious and significant effects of the COVID-19 lockdowns was the drastic improvement in air quality, especially in some of the most polluted cities in the world. Although air quality levels appear to be returning to pre-lockdown levels in many parts of the world, as more biosecurity measures are left behind. Some of the benefits that this confinement brought about could be maintained with a lasting and sustainable reduction in air pollution. The reduction of water consumptions. As the more industries have reduced their activities, the water consumption of the industrial sector has been reduced to around 20 or 30%. The hotels and health clubs are also not opening at full capacity, so a decrease in water consumption has been observed. It has also been observed that people tend to be more water efficient at home in hotels and resorts. In addition to a decrease in water consumption, there has been exemplified clarity in the quality of the water in the canals.
The change effects on plants.
Due to less human interference, plants are exposed to better air quality and clean water. They also have non-contaminated oxygen, an important nutrient for their growth. Also, animal life expectancies increase. And studies say that many species will extinct because of climate change. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic, these measures decrease. As we have explained, the COVID-19 pandemic had an important decrease in contamination. And with this, also decrease the climate change.
How COVID-19 affecting nature? There is a misconception that nature is getting break from humans during the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead, many rural areas in the tropics of facing increased pressure from the land grabbing, deforestation, illegal mining, and wildfire poaching. People who lost their employment in cities are returning to their rural homes, further increasing the pressure of natural sources, who will also increase the risks of a COVID-19 transmission of rural areas. Meanwhile, there are reports of increased deforestation in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Illegal miners are longer are encroaching on indigenous territories, which could expose remote indigenous communities to the virus. Areas that economically depend on the tourism phase reduced resources as tourism has come to halt, returning in a rise in investment.
Finally, we get the conclusion that COVID-19 pandemic has brought many positive things that may not happen never again. For example, the air pollution decrease, but the price we pay is the highest, many of our lives. There are some positive changes that may not last very long after the pandemic is over or even just reduced. In our opinion, the pandemic positive effects were not worth it because of the high price that had to be paid for them and because the short time that they will last. Thanks for watching.